Pregame.com.
West Virginia minus 14 at Syracuse. Friday night, college football, ESPN. Who do you like and why?
I like West Virginia, and I've got them winning the game 41-17, RJ, but this is a situation. Three things are going for us here. This is the first week of BCS after the PCS rankings came out. Now, West Virginia is not a team that's up in the top tier, but they're a team with just one loss right now, and that one loss was to LSU, which looks very good on their resume. If they continue to win, they're going to move themselves into position for a good bowl game. So, as you like to say, style points come into play. This is a TV game. This is a type of team that is going to want to make a statement because they are on TV. They're going to have the sole attention of all the viewers. So I like that scenario. The other scenario we've got, this is a big revenge game for West Virginia. Syracuse went into West Virginia last year, beat them in Morgantown, is a 13.5-point underdog. So you're going to get total focus from West Virginia in this game. And putting this game on carpet in the Carrier Dome, West Virginia's too fast for Syracuse.
Okay, so you bring up the idea of style points, and that's a discussion that we've had ongoing in the forums, is in the last 2 weeks, the top 10 teams in the AP are 16-1-1 ATS. Now, a lot of bookmakers are, our friend Chris Andrews at Cal Neva is talking about Hemlock, little Socrates reference. And the fact is, there's a lot of people saying, is this an aberration? And that seems to be the default. Oh man, stick with the old approach, it's fine. I'm questioning that. And I'm not sure I'm right, but my instinct says that the style points are mattering so much. And I had an interesting conversation on Twitter where someone said, heck, the margin of victory mattered more 5 or 6 years ago when the computers accounted for it. Now the computers, it's a mandate that can't account for it. My point is, it still matters. The human voters clearly, and we've seen situations where teams have actually won and dropped in the polls. What could that be other than margin of victory, right? But my point is, I think the taboo is off. I think these new age coaches and the ruthlessness of things makes it where you don't hear as much talk about, it's almost like everyone's doing it. It's like steroids in baseball 10 years ago. If everyone's doing it, how much can you blame people? So to me, I think whenever a team can run it up, they do run it up these days, or at least most teams, and I think it's skewing the numbers. They're keeping the pedal to the metal. I'm also hearing, well, first off, what do you think of that? Those concepts?
I agree, obviously, and actually, the last 2 weeks it's been insane, but if you really go back and look all season, if you take like the top 5 teams, it's an insane number from the beginning of the season, after week 1. It's been covering all year. The bookmakers are trying to adjust. I mean, they keep raising the numbers, but it's not enough, and the numbers are getting bet up during the week. If you look at the opening numbers and you look at the closing numbers on the top 5 teams each week, they're going up.
So I actually did a study on this. So it's not 6, 7, and 8 are undefeated ATS this year. So it's not just top 5. It's really top 9. Number 10 is actually net negative, but it's kind of weird to say top 9. Right. But it really is top 9. But yeah, it's the case with all of them. And, it brings up an interesting point. The public we always talk about the value of power rankings. You got to have a beginning point of where this line should be. And really what we're finding out is whatever Stanford's put out at, whatever Alabama's, people want to bet it up. You would think at some point the lines makers are just so afraid of the sharps because remember, in college football, even the marquee games, there's still more sharp action. Right. Or at least potentially, because they don't bet every game. But if you take in net college football, there's more sharp action than public action. Only the NFL has a majority of public action. So it's a catch-22. They're afraid of the sharps, but that's opening the door for the public to kill them. I have another thought, but any other thoughts on your side?
Well, this West Virginia offense, I just don't see how Syracuse is going to be able to stop it. They're putting up over 550 yards a game. They even put up 533 in that game against LSU, and we all know LSU is one of the better defenses in the country. I just see West Virginia going in there, and they're going to win. Syracuse defensively, They gave up 29 to Wake Forest, 38 to Southern Cal, 30 to Toledo, and 34 to Tulane.
So let me ask you a question. When I was researching this game, one thing struck me is we preach early in the year that when there's a new coach, a new system, that they're going to underperform early, and then at some point they're going to hit their stride, and you might have value because of that earlier underperformance. It seems like that West Virginia, that they've hit the stride with this new offense. And it's a situation, I just have a stat here, the QB has thrown for an average of 385 yards per game in the last 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't seem like it took too long to get going. Do you have a sense that this team is peaking right now?
Absolutely. They're heading in the right direction, and that's why I think that when I talked about the BCS, they're trying to make a statement to get themselves in that top 8 plateau for the big...
What does top 8 mean?
Well, the big bowls, the 4 big bowls.
Okay. Now, and the whole BCS motivational stuff, to me, I'm not too interested in it, but really it's more about the Big East than the automatic bid, right? I mean, the odds of West Virginia getting an at-large seems pretty small.
Right. Unless they run, I mean, if this team runs the table, their resume is going to look good.
Yeah, but if they run the table, they're automatically going to be in the Big East.
Correct.
Champ. All right, give us your projection.
I've got West Virginia 41-17. They roll Syracuse on Friday.
I rarely lay big numbers like this, but there's 13.5s out there right now. Hilton has 13.5. We're taping here on Wednesday. At 13.5, I might take a little piece of that. 14, I'm passing.
All right.
All right, now you've got your warm-up game of the year. Now, I don't want to talk about it in the main part of this video. We're going to go into overtime.
Okay.
Because to me, this weekend, that's an interesting concept, warm-up game of the year. So, guys, here's what we're going to do. That's it for the pick. If you don't want to hear about the warm-up game of the year, you can move on to the next video at pregame.tv. Now we're just going to spend 2 or 3 minutes and understand Marco's thinking. What is a warm-up game of the year?
Well, as we talked in a previous video about the month of October, how I say it's the purest month of handicapping, every year that's when I isolate my game of the year. I've been doing it for 32 years. And I always have a couple weekends where I've got games that I look at and I got them circled and I'm watching them and they set up. That's what I go with. And generally it's the last 2 weeks of October.
So real quick, the October purity you're thinking is in September there's a lot, they're playing out of conference, there's a lot of blowouts. In November there's motivational issues. In October you're in conference, most teams have full motivation.
Still in bowl eligibility, yes. So I look at this month and that's when I have my 2 biggest plays of the year. I have my warm-up block of the year, and that's just what it is. It's the dress rehearsal to the lock of the year. It's my second biggest play I have. The 32 years I've been in business, we're 24-7 with that game.
So let me do the math. Oh, so this year's 32.
Yeah, this is 32.
All right, so this is 24-7, documented, no BS.
Right. And
that's pretty impressive. Now, what's your game of the year record?
One better, 25-6.
All right. Well, and that's why they call you the big game hunter, I heard.
Big game expert, yeah.
Oh, it's the big game expert?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 49-13. And you just turned 50, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be your 50th game of the year.
Well, I will be turning 50 in November. So
when is it? This birthday's I've been hearing about it for months.
Well, when you don't see me in the office for a few days, you can understand I'll be in Pittsburgh.
You're going to have a sugar buzz and you're going to be sleeping it off.
I'll be in Pittsburgh.
Well, listen, guys, here's the thing. You hear 49-13, and first thing you're thinking is, what the hell, right? I get that. This is something, clearly pregame.com has its pros, and there's things we always want to improve, but lying about the record is not something that ever happens. Amazing. Clearly, you're locked in October. You're going to be having your game of the year warm-up this Saturday.
This Saturday.
And then next Saturday is your true game of the year.
Yes.
49-13. You can get all that at marcodangelo.com.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. We'll be back. And remember, I'm going to say this at the end of every video this week. We have a new feature where we're going to take every video, put it in the forums, and all the participants are going to answer any and all questions that you ask about the video. And so you can go directly to that forum thread, either just going to the forums and finding it, or we're going to have a direct link always from pregamevideos.com into that thread. So ask your questions and get your answers from the experts. Talk to you there.